From the Lower Colorado River Authority, this is Wavelength.
The creation of this new river authority will help electrify rural Texas.
And so today, we gather here to dedicate this mighty structure, the Cannondale.
But this has been a great organization for 60 years. It's going to be a great organization for a long time to come.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the October edition of Wavelength. Well, the events of September 11th may be a long ways geographically from Central Texas, but it's not very far from our hearts and our minds. From Wharton to San Saba and everywhere in between, everyone has been touched by this tragic event. On this month's show, we're going to explain what LCRA is doing to beef up security at all of its plants and facilities, and we'll share with you some personal stories of how LCRA employees have been affected by this event. It was a day that shocked everyone at the LCRA. But in the hours following the attack, General Manager Joe Beal sent a company-wide email reminding employees of the importance of their jobs and about the millions of people who rely on the LCRA.
After the terrible attack by the terrorists on the 11th of September, LCRA did its job to respond to what was going on, and we did that in various ways. The first way, and I guess the most important way, was that on that awful day we continued to do our work. We stood at our post, we did our jobs, we continued to do what people expected us to do. Since that point in time, we've taken a lot of additional action. We've heightened security significantly. We have begun to make plans for some formal training for our folks. We've done those things that we have needed to do to prepare ourselves for the situation that the entire country is in today.
Security at our power plants, dams, and other facilities has always been a priority for the LCRA. But in the wake of the recent attacks on our country, heightened security measures were immediately implemented. Now the Public Safety Office is developing a list of procedures that will enhance the security at our facilities and improve safety of our employees.
As the provider of such vital services as electricity and drinking water to so many people here in Central Texas, LCRA has a huge responsibility to keep the power on and the water flowing. LCRA's first response following the attack was to assign rangers and security guards to all facilities on an around-the-clock basis. Today, operations continue at a security level of heightened awareness.
We now have response plans in public safety. We have facilities identified. We have personnel identified. We have schedules identified so that in the event of additional terrorist activity or an increased level of threat or military action on the part of the United States military, they know what their assignment is. They report immediately to that facility. Those plans are already in place. We're meeting tomorrow with other lines of business to help them formulate their response plans as well. We will have these short-term actions that we're prepared to take, then part of the long-term planning to upgrade security overall.
Access to power plants remains under tight control. Gates and doors that were once open are now locked. But employees and vendors seem happy to put up with the inconvenience for the sake of added security.
It made people stop and think about security a little bit more, because most times we take it for granted that how safe we are in America. So even people here, they're, hey, thank you, Jason, for being here. Thanks for doing what you're doing. Little things like that. It makes me feel like what I'm doing is worthwhile.
The sheer distance between generating facilities and the diversity of fuel sources gives LCRA a certain built-in defense mechanism against catastrophic power loss.
Our generating facilities go from LaGrange, Texas to Marble Falls. All our eggs is not in one basket as far as generation. We have a pretty diverse generation mix with our coal, our gas, and our wind generation, which is in West Texas, our hydro generation, which is split up between 6 different dams. So The generation mix is scattered pretty much over our whole service area.
It doesn't matter if you work in Genco or Waterco or accounting or legal services. What happened on September 11th affected everyone. Sue Wu is on the phone nearly every day buying and selling energy options with traders in New York. When she saw what was happening, her thoughts immediately turned to her New York contact at Cantor Fitzgerald.
I didn't realize that, the person I work on a daily basis, was also, in trouble,
As the day went on, Sue's thoughts were focused on the trader, Jude Mosa, a man she never met, but whom she'll never forget.
So it was hard, It's for me it's really personal, even though I never get a chance to meet him, But we talk to each other frequently, and I consider he was a really helpful friend.
Winnie Hall is a safety representative for Waterco, whose life was also changed on September 11th.
That's at his West Point graduation.
Winnie's husband is a company commander for a Black Hawk helicopter squadron in the Army. And her mother works for the U.S. State Department and is stationed in Israel. Winnie works out of Buchanan Dam and says her co-workers have been a wonderful support network in a very difficult time.
Personally, the concern that all of the guys have had for me, and having my husband being active duty military and my mother working for the State Department, has been nothing but concern. They have called just out of the blue to ask me, how are both of those situations? Nothing but, my family is in their prayers and in their thoughts. Nothing but genuine concern, and that's been wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Throughout the lines of business, people are busy getting work done. At the Fayette Power Project, the coal cars continue to arrive like clockwork. Energy continues to flow to our customers, and crews continue to keep the system running efficiently. But according to Chuck Chapin, some things are not the same.
If I was going to tell you what was different, I would say that we are in a higher state of security than we were prior to the World Trade Center incident. I think that even though we always did look out for each other, I think we're taking a little bit more time to think about our friends and even our families when we're at home.
Things are pretty much the same along the Colorado River, too. The water quality crews are conducting their daily samples and, as always, looking for anything unusual.
We do have a lot of eyes and ears on the river. We have hundreds of volunteer monitors, a lot of schools out on the river on a daily, if not weekly basis, doing our volunteer monitoring program. We have our field crews that are out on a regular basis on the Highland Lakes, the Colorado River, the Matagorda Bay system. We feel like we have a pretty good handle that if the river hiccups, we'll know about it.
And it was business as usual for Larry Moyer, who manages one of LCRA's 20 water and wastewater plants. He says thousands of people rely on the safe supply of drinking water each day, a responsibility they do not take lightly.
Delivering public drinking water has always been an issue of public safety. It's the thing we do day in and day out is to put out water that's safe for people to drink. And just because of what happened more recently doesn't diminish that concern on our part.
Moyer says the plants are designed with security in mind. The water is essentially under lock and key the entire time and monitored on a regular basis.
It's officially known as the Colorado Room, but most folks here at the General Office Complex simply call it Mo's.
Hi, how you doing?
Mo Shirirli has worked at the LCRA for 8 years. He was born in Iran and came to the States back in 1970 to attend college. Mo became a U.S. citizen in 1981, and as a member of the Muslim faith, he says the recent terrorist attacks on this country have deeply affected him.
This is completely against Muslim religion. Nowhere in Muslim religion or in Quran actually saying that you can go and kill innocent people while they're doing their job, while they're at work. and call that jihad. That's not jihad. And this is something that they made up. And these people are not Muslim. That's all there's to it.
Mo felt like he had to do something to help, so he put a donation bucket by the cash register supporting the American Red Cross.
It's fantastic. Everybody is trying to do the best they can, whatever they can. We take anything they can dish out.
Employees have organized fundraisers all across the company. This luncheon at Buchanan Dam, along with similar events at Ferguson and Sim Gideon power plants, raised over $2,000 for the relief effort.
There's been a lot of things I've reflected upon, a lot of concern and a lot of compassion for the folks and what they've lost up in New York, and all the circle of influence, their families, the way it's impacted all our employees. I mean, everyone that you meet, it's on their mind, you can tell.
Many employees have been frustrated, looking for some way to make a difference.
Here you go. Thank you.
For Rebecca Hill, it was writing a personal check to the Red Cross.
Well, I think everybody is just heartbroken at what happened, and we're all looking at I'm looking for a positive way to reach out and act on the shock and anger that I feel, but I want my response to be as positive as possible.
Beverly Seffel heads up LCRA's volunteer programs. She says so far some $13,000 has been collected from personal donations, fundraisers, and LCRA's United Charities.
To have our employees dig into their pocketbooks and to come forward to volunteer, I have never ever seen an outpouring like this before. As I said, our employees can always be counted on to volunteer, but I've never ever seen the kind of response to a disaster like this one that I have seen here.
The LCRA community fish fries are always popular events, but none have been as patriotic as the one last month in Belleville, just outside of Brenham. Dozens of volunteers wore t-shirts that displayed the theme of the day.
We're custom united, we stand for LCRA, but now I think we want to say it for the entire country.
I think that you see that everybody has a little more pride. The LCRA is all wearing their shirts and everybody else has ribbons on and so forth.
We can always have differences of opinions, but when it comes to our common freedom, we all stand together on that.
The turnout was much larger than usual, partially because the LCRA made a special effort to invite all public service workers throughout the region. And although fish fries are usually free from any speeches, Joe Beal made a special effort to thank each one of them for their service.
It's these people, along with those that have served in the military and those that will serve in the military in the months to come, that make this a safe place for all the rest of us to live.
LCRA's own singer-songwriter Ken Brothers capped the evening with a crowd-pleasing version of one of America's most popular patriotic songs.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Over the past 3 years, more than 61,000 people have come here to McKinney-Ruff's Environmental Learning Center in Bastrop County. With its system of trails and connection to the Colorado River, school kids, adults, summer campers, and teachers have all found something special at this unique facility.
It's going to be a great deal.
Now McKinney-Ruff's is taking its environmental education opportunities to a whole new level. On this site, a new dining hall with full kitchen facilities will be built, And nearby, 3 two-story dormitories will provide overnight accommodations for 128 students and teachers.
It is a great opportunity for the class to unify as a whole and to be able to draw from the strengths. Everyone has different strengths, and they recognize that as they work together to solve problems, either on the challenge course or on the river rafting or as they're doing field investigations. So it is truly a team building and a leadership and an individual and group growth opportunity for the students as well as the teachers, because they're integrated into this learning opportunity as well. Yeah. It looks like it's been there for a long time.
Yeah. Like the existing buildings here, this $2.5 million expansion will be a green building project using recycled and sustainable materials wherever possible. For example, the outdoor decks are made of recycled plastic material. Use of natural lighting, highly efficient air conditioning, foam insulation, and insulated glass make this complex very energy efficient. Separate grant money will be used to build an amphitheater and a rainwater collection system to help with landscape irrigation.
McKinney Roughs is a natural for this, close to the Austin area, but it can be used by statewide, and just the programs and opportunities that are provided here, it's going to be great.
The project is scheduled to be complete by summer of 2002. Just imagine, in this room there is a collective 4,500 years of LCRA work experience. This group has assembled for the annual Employee Awards Luncheon to honor outstanding achievement in the areas of safety and environmental excellence and to celebrate service to LCRA, its customers, and the communities of Central Texas.
Just as the LCRA folks give 100% to their jobs, they give 100% to their communities. I've worked with many LCRA employees side by side on projects in the Burnett County area. I've seen the dedication and commitment firsthand, and I'm very proud to be associated with an organization where so many do so much for others.
15 employees received the General Manager's Community Service Award for their outstanding volunteer efforts. Tom Bao was honored for his work with Habitat for Humanity and his tremendous contribution to the local Vietnamese community.
Well, I feel real honored and real proud that my volunteer work is recognized. For me, actually, getting the award, the plaque is not as important. Getting the $200 check, which goes to my favorite charity.
Waterco's Dam and Hydroelectric team was presented the General Manager's Safety Award for their innovative ideas which eliminated the risk to employees while lubricating the floodgates at Wirtz Dam. One group is helping the fish in Lake Austin breathe easier by adding oxygen to the water as it leaves Mansfield Dam, while the other group is eliminating hundreds of pounds of hazardous waste by innovative purchasing and recycling programs. This resulted in a tie for the General Manager's Environmental Award between the Marshall Ford Hydroelectric Modernization Team and the Tensco Safety, Environmental, and Training Group. Interest in environmental and safety issues among employees seems to be at a very high level right now.
A lot of that's coming from the Board of Directors' support for this, and they issued the Environmental Leadership Policy, and the General Manager's support for environmental and safety issues. And it's because of their support, there's a much greater awareness among the employees at LCRA.
Service pins were given out this year to employees with 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 years of service with the company. And one outstanding employee was honored for 35 years with the LCRA, Tommy Higgins. General Manager Joe Beal closed the event by looking back at LCRA's accomplishments over the past year, and then looking to the future.
So the path in front of LCRA has been set. It is a path of greater service. It is a path of good customer service. It is a path of expansion. It is a path of doing more for the state of Texas than we have done in the past. And it's a glorious place for LCRA to be and for you all to be as fine employees of this organization. I want to tell you that I am very, very proud to be your manager and to be your leader, and we are going to go forth and we're going to do great things in the future. I thank you.
Well, that's it for this edition of Wavelength. We'll look forward to seeing you next month.